Happy holidays, I am CoolGuy. Today we're going to dive into the new Beyond Light Titan exotic gauntlets, the Icefall Mantles. I'm going to be up front here. Exotic wise, it kind of feels like Titan got the short end of the stick for this DLC. I'm going to be covering the helmet Precious Scars within the next couple weeks. But the two Titan exotics compared to the two for Hunter and for Warlock, there's a little gap between those. And even though it feels like that there's a wide gap, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Icefall Mantles are bad. Believe it or not, they are very good in a specific way, and I'm going to show you. That's what we're going to talk about. And for this review, I am going to be talking about PvP and PvE usage. The exotic perk for Icefall Mantle is Glacial Guard, replaces your barricade ability with a personal overshield. When you activate your barricade, you create a burst around you that slows combatants. While you have the overshield, you are slowed and the barricade does not recharge. So this is a very weird, very odd exotic. Let's talk about if it's worth it or not. It replaces your barricade, and upon activation, you go into third person, and it's worth noting it means that you can use that third person like you were popping that barricade, so you get a quick view of the enemies that are rushing you, and on activation, it does slow, and this is a good thing. It stops players in their tracks, it takes away some of their abilities, it slows them down while they are next to you. Note that as you come back into first person, you can shoot. It's very weird. It's from the hip. You aren't really aiming. You can't see where you're aiming, but you can hit something that's right in front of you. You have to be grounded to pop the overshield. Can't be up in the air. And once you have that overshield, a timer is going to go on the screen for 20 seconds. You cannot knee slide, you cannot double jump, you cannot sprint. All you can do is walk, and the speed's going to be tied to your mobility stat. You can move a little bit faster with a higher mobility. When you take damage, the counter will reset to 20. It's going to do that when you get a kill as well. And this is good because say you popped it in a very bad spot, you have that 20 seconds to kind of slowly move to the next area. I mean, you're moving at a turtle's pace, but that's okay. At least you're going to have the overshield. And the moment you take damage or get a kill, it's going to go right back up to 20. The shield you get gives exactly 100 health. You pair that with a very high resilience stat, you're looking at 300 total health when you pop it. And once the 100 health is broken, then the ability cooldown will start again to start recharging it, and all the negatives of the overshield go away. You can now sprint, knee slide, and so on. In PvP, this means that while you have the overshield, you can tank a fast-firing sniper shot. You're going to make a user land 5 headshots with Ace of Spades opposed to 3. Yes, you tank damage with Icefall Mantle. Yes, you are extending their TTK. But some things like a sniper headshot, other than the fast firing one, something like a Dord, that's going to take you out. So on the surface, it's very good for a 1v1. It's very good to hold a spot down. It's good to pop when you're low critical health. Say you're in red health, you grab that extra 100 to help tank a headshot or a couple body shots and win a duel. It's really good for that. In PvE, the overshield can help keep you alive. It takes a good amount of damage. On Void Day here, this isn't too scientific, it's just a visual. With the Icefall Mantle here, it takes about 7 shots from the boss servitor, so it's pretty quick. There's some splash damage in there, but with Icefall on, it's double that, or over double that, 14 shots, 15 from the servitor. It can really shine in PvE. In a tad higher level play, especially with something like Overload champions in general, Legendary Lost Sectors, it does its job well. It's enough to do the combinations on them, so you can pop the overshield, hit them with an overload stun, get close with a sword, or do anarchy at a distance. And especially the overloads, as they're just warping around your screen, you can take some of that damage to try to land the combination to stun them. In a moment, I'm going to get into more detail about this, but let's get back to the Crucible. Here's where we start talking about use cases and how it can shine. It helps keep you alive, you can win 1v1s, but you are very immobile. So immobile, it cuts into neutral game. When I first started playing with Icefall Mantle, and of course on the outside, there's a lot of mixed results. Some players saying that they liked it, some not so much. I like to work with the exotic, kind of come to a conclusion, bring out the best in it, make it worthwhile, and the first thing I found out, just out of the gate, Killing Wind weapons are elite for it. Very few Titans out there running max mobility, and a good example is the new Killing Wind Glacioclasm. You can have the overshield with Icefall, you can move a tad bit faster after that kill, you can stray faster, and a fusion's really nice because you can't sprint at people in knee slide. You're mostly defensive when you have this overshield, you really are. So a fusion makes sense, and even more sense with Killing Wind. You can pair this fusion with a 120 hand cannon, let's say Steady Hand from Iron Banner, or maybe a Dord, or Arctic Haze. All of these have Killing Wind. The exotic just feels better with this perk. But the second thing I found out is it's horrible for Behemoth. I mean, you can make it work, but I have huge issues with it. I mean, the only thing you have is the charged melee, and you use it for a little extra mobility jump. You use it to get out of areas, to close gaps, but then it's gone. It's just gone. Secondly, it takes away the pure strength of Behemoth. The mobility, the fast back-to-back knee slide, the movement. And that goes into the third thing, it takes away the fast shatter capability of Behemoth. If you are in that overshield, you throw a glacier, or you see crystals around you, you can't knee slide into them. You're just like everyone else. It's going to take 3 shots to take out a crystal. It really hinders what the Titan does best, which is shatter. I hated it, and I saw mixed reviews about it, and I thought, well, let's try it somewhere else. And as a reminder, big thing, Icefall Mantle isn't tied to Behemoth. It isn't tied to Stasis. It works on any Titan subclass. Arc Solar Void, and even when you pop it, it slows enemies like a Stasis class would. So I thought, well, maybe I can use Middle Tree, Code of the Missile, Arc with Ballistic Slam. Maybe I could get high in the air, slam down, once I hit the ground, pop the Overshield. But in practice, not so much, because you commit to that area that you popped it in. You're usually in the middle of nowhere. It just didn't work well, and the enemies could return fire. If I were to do that, I would be running Syntheseps or Dune Marchers anyway. Try different ones, different things, thinking about what this does to your mobility, what abilities you can and cannot use, and then I found what I believe is the best pairing for Icefall Mantle, where it shines. The tree that has the most synergy. It's a little bit of fire and ice. Bottom Tree Sunbreaker's Code of the Siegebreaker. Sun Warrior. Passing through a sunspot causes your melee ability to recharge faster. It also increases the damage of your weapons. Soul Invictus, solar abilities restore your health. Grenade melee and Sun Warrior kills leave a deadly sunspot in their wake. With how Icefall works and how this tree works, it's perfect. And there's even a strong build for PvE. PvP wise, I've had a couple wee rans using this, and here's the gameplay loop. Since you're immobile, the sunspot is the absolute best case scenario, because that way you can stay in it. You create the sunspot with an ability, melee final blow, maybe doing that with a shotgun melee, a grenade final blow from the super, a hammer. You're gonna stand in that sunspot, pop Icefall Mantle, and at this point, you have 300 health, a fast charge to your melee and your grenade, and 20% more damage to your weapon. It makes something like a 120 hand cannon 2-tap. And from here, you're getting Sun Warrior kills. You're gonna drop the next sunspot, so now you're moving with a purpose. Going sunspot to sunspot, having 20% more damage, and when they break the 100 health overshield, it's going to be able to start to regen, but you're going to have the sunspots. You should have the grenade ready, the melee ready to go do it again. It's very fun, very strong, and it utilizes the Sunbreaker kit, whereas some of the other classes not so much. It kind of hinders them. It really bogs them down. It breaks Behemoth way down. But for Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, being immobile, standing in a sunspot just works so well. And let me tell you, it's a really good feeling and probably a scary sight to be in that sunspot, have 300 health, ready to 2-tap. Once you do, you just go sunspot to sunspot. For PvE and PvP, I do recommend a Thermite as far as the grenade, but for PvE, Code of the Siegebreaker is also the play there. Here are the mods in the loop for that. This is a Warmind Cell build. You want Wrath of Rasputin, Solar Splash damage final blows have a chance to create Warmind cells, Global Reach, Warmind cells do damage at a longer distance, Warmind's Protection, you take reduced damage from enemies that are near Warmind cells, Light from Darkness, become charged with light by rapidly defeating enemies near a Warmind cell using weapons or abilities, and the final mod is what you want to do with that charge with light that you were getting from Light from Darkness. Maybe Lucent Blade for a sword, maybe you want to go full tank. Use Protective Light. When you're in red health, all your charge with light is consumed, and you gain significant damage resistance. But with Icefall Mantle, since it's solar splash damage, the sunspots create cells using abilities, so on the Thermite out, you're creating cells. You can also use something like Retribution for the solar wave. If not, you can use an Ikelos SMG or an Ikelos weapon. But you would get a sunspot going, and from that sunspot, at any time, you can pop the Icefall Overshield. You can stand in it, you deal 20% more weapon damage. As you're getting kills and throwing grenades, the Warmind cells are popping up. They're dropping randomly on the field. The enemies that are next to them, you're taking reduced damage from them. Good. You pair that with you having an overshield. You're dealing 20% more damage with your weapons because you're in a sunspot. You're getting fast cooldowns. You go entire sections with the overshield on, just moving sunspot to sunspot. And if you do get low health, there's Protective Light if you went that route, or you can regain health from a solar ability kill. Many different ways you can go. You can use Sunshot, you can use Polaris Lance. And if you only have some of these mods, the main two are Global Reach and Wrath of Rasputin. That's to create cells from solar splash damage, and then you just kind of build out from there if you don't have too much to work with. I've had a ton of people out there tweet at me that the Icefalls have made Legendary Lost Sectors a piece of cake for them, that they've done well in PvE. Maybe you can throw the Overload grenade mods on. I do highly recommend them with Bottom Tree Sunbreaker. Back to PvP for a second. Leaving Bottom Tree Sunbreaker in its own category, let's talk about them overall. You do you. They have their uses in 1v1. They have their uses for staying alive. But especially with Behemoth, I just feel it weighs you down too much. With that, is the benefit worth the risk? You take away that mobility, the easy shatter, all of it, and you're left with that 1v1 that you won because of it, or you survived that one time because you popped your overshield, things like that. And sometimes that is worth it, but really overall, would Dune Marchers be better? One-Eyed Mask. Better yet, the Titan's Ramparts, because you can throw up that shield, you can get some damage through it, and you can tank some damage just for that little area, and you can still be mobile. And that fits the Behemoth just a little bit better in PvP than Icefall Mantle, but you be the judge. I don't see too many players running it with Bottom Tree Sunbreaker. It's really good with it. With that tree, it feels like it's really worth it to pop that overshield in a sunspot, so give that a shot. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. If you're looking for a new controller, I am partnered with Scuff Gaming. You can use the link down below and my code COOL at checkout for a discount. Let's talk about Icefall Mantle below. Why do you like it? Why do you not like it? And even with something like Bottom Tree Sunbreaker, some people might not even like making sunspots, or maybe it doesn't happen too often for them. Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.